can turn to the Minnesota legislature. It can turn to the epicenter of what happened 3.5 weeks ago with George Floyd's murder. It is the week of the Clayton Jackson McGee centennial commemoration. It is a whole lot of things coming to a point, and it is being led by community asking for reforms. So we're here today to talk about those proposals. We're going to talk about it again. So far, we're still in gridlock. So far, we've had this entire week to move things, but now is the time. We keep hearing that legislators in the Senate, that the majority wants to go home tomorrow. Minnesotans want them to do the work. Minnesotans want them to do the work that has been put on the table. And today, you're going to hear a debate in the House that is going to be a real debate. As you saw on Saturday, 7 hours of emotional testimony, 7 hours of asking questions, 7 hours of expert witnesses, and then coming back now to debate it and bring it to it. That is in contrast to the Senate's hearing that expert witnesses who have worked in the case of some of these folks for 40 years in law enforcement and criminal justice reform were given 3 minutes while they were interrupted during that time. No debate, simply brought to the floor. That's not how the democracy works. We've seen it in DC where a few people hold up agendas. We wouldn't have been having the DACA discussion if the Speaker of the House, when I was in Congress, would have brought up the bipartisan bill that passed the Senate and would have overwhelmingly passed in the House, and we never got a chance to vote on it. So by holding things up and pushing them down, it exacerbates the problem. So today, I'm excited to be here with this group of folks. I'm excited for the day that can be historic in the Minnesota House of changing the way we view community safety, of changing what accountability looks like, and changing the way that communities feel like they have a voice in that. And so with that, I will add one of the founding members of the Posse Caucus, who we are certainly grateful for in Minnesota, is our Lieutenant Governor Peggy Flanagan.
Thank you so much, Governor, and good morning, everybody. So a week ago, the governor and I stood together with our colleagues in the legislature, specifically members of the People of Color and Indigenous Caucus, and unveiled a package for police accountability and true reform. The deeply rooted issues of systemic racism and discrimination in policing is not new to our state. The bills in this package, they are not new either. Minnesotans, especially Black, Brown, and Indigenous Minnesotans, are crying out for these issues to be acted upon. Now is the time for real action. Not in a month, not next session, not in 5 years, but now. The entire world is watching what we do in Minnesota, and they expect us to be on the right side of history. A few weeks ago, we watched the murder of George Floyd. The entire world watched the murder of George Floyd. And you've heard many of us speak to this, and I want to mention it once again, because when George Floyd called out for his mother, the world shook and shifted. That is our call to step up for justice. And that call must be heard in the House, and it will be with these members, and in the Senate, for justice for George Floyd, but justice for so many who came before him. We must stand up and say enough is enough. It is the time that the police protect and serve us all, no matter your zip code, your ability, or the color of your skin. Real change can happen in this moment if the legislature acts. And there is movement in Minnesota. We are ready. Minnesotans are ready, and we need the legislature to be too.